Hello, comrades. It's Premier Rever, and I am back again in the city of Neuve Revergrad, where the women look like men and the men aren't particularly happy about it. It's paused right now, but yep, they definitely all look like men, and that's not necessarily a good thing at all for the world. But I have it paused for 1 second to show you something that's a little bit. We got a brick train in here. So no sooner did they finish this thing than somebody decided that it was better to go all the way down and around here and come up and come into this mess. Now there was also a train, like two construction cranes facing each other, which I anticipated. At one point I had planned on not finishing this section here because of this kind of reason, right? So I don't know. It's just the train pathing and their way of doing it, I guess, is fine. It certainly works, but it's a frustrating mess, especially, well, like now, what do I do to stop trains coming in here besides break off my already finished track, which I don't really want to do. And actually, in this case, what I can probably do is come in here and make this an electrical track, like construction project, so that they don't come in here anymore, which we need to do eventually anyway, so I'm okay with that. Now, we don't have any construction, or let's play time, and this should straighten itself out, and nobody, until we get these done, they shouldn't be able to get in here again, and since that's assigned all the way down there, I think they'll go straight, but it just goes to show you, like, I don't know, some people said because of traffic, there's really very few trains come down here. Now, I don't know how long that was jammed up, because we spent quite a while in the last episode, and just so you know, very little time has passed, like, in-game since the last episode. Almost none, really. So anyway, we need to get these guys assigned to a few more construction projects. And oops, there we go. We'll get this one done. Something on this other track would be good. So there we go. So we have that moving momentarily in any event. So what do we have going on? Well, like I said, very little time has passed, so we just got done, in a sense, looking at this. I did go around and check all of our educational things, so everything seems to be straightened out. We have people and teachers in here. Our schools are good. In the towns that don't have a university, I kind of upped the numbers, so we don't have to worry about that. And this one will get a university. Someone was asking about, am I going to build near the factories all of the things that they need? Like, in other words, we need fabric, and no. What I intend to do is bring those things in, which doesn't sound as bad as it is. In the long run, here is the plan. So we have enough train stations to get in, and we might end up looping some of these through, but at the same time, for the most part, they're just going to come in and go back out onto the loop here, one way or the other. Now, the only thing I don't like about this is that they're going to come back out the same way, but remember, they're not really on a loop. They're going to be a supply train. So at some point in the future, they're not going to be on this same one, which is the supply loop, right? And like the goods for construction and towns, like the food and the construction materials loop. So this is the start of another loop that will, not even a loop, but this track will be specifically to bring in things to here. So what do we need? We need things like mechanical components. I plan on building this town is not just for this construction. It's going to, in the long run, really be for mechanical components. It could also do the construction, of course, but without a full construction depot here, this guy's really pretty limited. But this will be a town in this general vicinity that will supply people to make mechanical components. And then we also have a pretty big oil field over here. So I'm probably at some point going to make a plastic town here, Plasticton, where we would bring plastic on. Imagine, this train track here will jump over this one. I probably will put a bridge or something at some point where the trains can just come right in and out of here, right along there, and then we'll have a bridge or something, like I said, in this vicinity. Might have to bring this track over this way and then across the bridge. But that would get us mechanical components, plastic, electrical components are already right here. We're not even using this train setup we got going on. So eventually, though, they'll be able to come in here and get mechanical components. Steel is going to be right here. So at this point, this is one of the other things we need to work on pretty shortly here is getting the steel into our regular loop, if nothing else. We're going to be producing some steel, I hope. Probably not very consistently at first, but that's where this comes in. It's all tied together, isn't it? So we get more housing going here. Now, one of the things I want to do is just, I don't want to say slow down a bit, but this construction office is kind of right smack in the way. I want to bring, this is our passenger line right here, and I want to bring that in. This is potentially another train station. I know that's not in the right spot, but if you look, if I were to build a bridge similar to those, just so that if we ever did want to bring more materials this way, I would start a bridge in this neighborhood, make it as long as we can, maybe even go right over this road, as opposed to the way we did it here. But we'll see. That's all for a future design. Oh, building's on fire. So, but this is just right smack in the way. But that's okay because we haven't built any houses over here yet. And we have to get there. We're going to have the same kind of thing that we have here, where we have the inner loop, I'll call it, the one that goes around here, like from here to here, will be for getting them, very similar setup over here. So this is another shopping center, another everything else they need. But we got to get all this built too. And another university over here, and then houses similar to what we have over there. And yeah, and then that'll be like the start. Now, after a certain point, we're going to talk about how we make this more beautiful, right? But right now, it, as one person put it, looks more like an airfield than it does a town. But trust me, we'll get, look at how big that building's going to be and beautiful. We'll have a matching one over there. We'll have a garden here. We'll have, all our shopping here, like similar to this. And we'll do some more decorating. Great statues of me in a Speedo carrying a volleyball, as I suggested to Steve the other day. That would be a fine statue of me, right? Like a hunk coming off the beach with his volleyball under his arm, having just defeated his enemies in beach sports. I'm kidding. I hope you know that. All right. So anyway, I wouldn't want that even if you made me a statue like that. I'm not sure it would be decent in any event. So we're still working on getting this ramped up, and we will continue to get this ramped up. My biggest problem right now is getting some more money. So I think we should prioritize getting the steel trains in and out of here, but also let us not forget that way down over here we have this, and this should be all ready to go. Probably the biggest thing I did other than leveling between the episodes was I think I've got, let me open this up so you can see it a little easier. I think I've got all of the train signaling straightened out. As far as what we're going to do is this is going to be, regular right-hand rule, but then this will be the in from both sides. So the trains will only be able to come in here, and then they'll divide up and go to whichever one. Well, that's not totally true, because that is totally true. So they'll come in here, and then this will be an out for the ones that come over here. And then obviously as they come through these two lines, they'll drop off their stuff, and then they'll go back out. So the only concern I have is that a couple, like this is a mega intersection. Oops. So I'm not sure. I got like a triple, effectively a triple chain signal here. So we're going to see how that goes. This one should stop unless his path is completely clear to get out here. So hopefully this doesn't become a bit of a nightmare. Now the good thing is the inbound isn't overly attached to the outbound. We have a crossing, kind of a big mess here, but we don't have, and we have a crossing here. It's bad, but I don't think it's as bad as it might look. Now, things like this this is not the way you would normally do an intersection, because I didn't want trains to stop on this track. If somebody comes in here, I want them to at least get, if they clog this up, it's better than clogging this up. So I'm hoping that they at least get in far enough here to get off of this track. So I didn't want to signal this properly. When I talk about signaling properly, I think I have a really good example, and hopefully these are all long enough. Like this, to me, is about how you should build an intersection. I keep turning that off. if you look, each one of these, if you want to make an intersection that's not just one big glob of intersection, you need to leave enough space for a full-length train to get in between. And I'm not quite sure if that's enough right there where I just turned it yellow, but I think it is. So in other words, each one of these becomes its own separate intersection, which will allow a train to sit on each one of the legs of the junction. Does that make sense? This is really not much different, and then you just have to, this gets into a bit of a mess here, but you know, there's our in, out. There you go. Does that make sense? So that's how I'm signaling these, and then this one to the same degree, other than it's a single track out, where these have to be able to go in and out from here. Good. So there we go. So I think, having said all of that, and I want to take our hit, but I want to come over here to all related vehicles, and I think I'm going to pause the video just for the sake of, I'm sure some of you are interested in seeing me switch all of these vehicles to this station here, right? So, or whichever station is appropriate. I guess we have 3 of them here, right? And then we have our meat factory, so I want to get our meat factory moved over, so all the vehicles, related vehicles that are coming into here. And in the meantime, we need to get the trains that are coming into here, and the vehicles that are coming into there for that matter. And it's just quite a few of them. Now the good news is that some of this stuff is coming. I just think this is going to be good, because one of the things we couldn't do in the past, see, this is, okay, that's a corn train going down to Revergrad, which has its own issues I'm not going to get into right now. But this guy, who's a nice fancy electrical train that we built, is only able to go to this right here. So what I think I want to do, this would be like the first thing we'll do, is let's go back here, and my game is being jumpy. I haven't had too many laggy issues, but it's definitely being jumpy. And I don't know if it has to do with my computer or does it have to do with the multi-threading thing. But if you notice, as I move around, it's sticking in a sense. And even when I'm zoomed in, it seems to do it too. So we'll see. I don't know if you see that. Well, you can't really tell when I'm put there. See that right there? Boom. Like it's. And I don't think it has to do. I mean, graphically, I don't think we're showing that much. So there's something definitely going on. So hopefully they get that. I'm on the test version, so can't complain too much when you're on the test version. Okay. So in any event, since this is meat, I'm thinking we'll just make this warehouse food. So let's limit the amount. Is that the food? Yeah. And we'll hit the minus over here, and that'll get that guy up to 100%. So that's food. And then, thank you, game save. And then this is obviously only capable of meat. Building is without power supply. How about this one? Yes. So where did we just not bother to design power supply, or is it now just completely invisible because of the way they changed the game? I thought I had put power supply over here, but it's entirely possible that I didn't. And the only way to see it nowadays is if you get a construction office. Yeah, this would be, yeah, I don't see, if you get real close to here, I've noticed you can usually, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's extra there. That's, well, that's right. We moved this one, didn't we? Yeah, but that was just because it was in the way of our university. Okay. So I don't think we have any power supply over here, so never mind. We have another construction project to do, which is good. I mean, it's, well, not good, but certainly not what I wanted, but yeah, so let's see. Where can we... Yeah, I would think like maybe here we'll get this whole side of things. Can't build due to infrastructure. So let's zoom in. Oh. Okay, let's just Zoom in again. Yeah, it's just not quite. How's that for jamming it in? All right, so remember it's right there, and then if we just sort of hover over about the same place, so we need to catch, yeah, everything else. Yeah, that's definitely getting, there we go. Yeah, it's getting everything at least up until here. So really, if this guy was, yeah, this is definitely going to cover. Oops. Yeah, let's make sure we get all those. And I think I'd turn this way. Yeah, I think that'll get everybody covered. Okay, so now let's just get the dirt road to this. And then now we need to get some electrical. Now let's see, how much electrical do we have over here? Yeah, I think we can get out of here and get over and then maybe put in a switch someplace. So if we came into this area and we'll put a medium voltage switch, like maybe here. Yeah, we'll get a road over to it before we forget. Really? Man, so this guy needs to get to... Stretch that guy out. Yeah, we won't be able to go through that. A little bit too close to the building there. Come on. I saw you where I wanted you. Right there. Oh, no, you didn't like that. Sometimes you wiggle just enough to get. There we go. Not necessarily perfect, but, and I probably could have put this switch down here further, but. And then this needs to get. No, you don't like that? What do you... There we go. Yeah, that's not too bad. We'll go up one more. Yeah, let's go up two more. Game safe. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess. I don't think we'll have an issue with not enough power, but then let's commit to this. And by the way, I was thinking of moving this guy up to our car manufacturing, or the vehicles. Now you know why I didn't. All right, so let's get that guy there. No, you're not going to let me? There it is. Yeah, getting rid of the dots. I complained about the dots, and then now they're getting back at me for complaining, huh? So now they've made it even harder on us. Yeah, let's just assign all of these. Now this guy probably has a bunch of other assignments, or a couple other assignments from all the way up by car manufacturing, just because this is where our asphalt comes from, at least in part. Where are we going? Here. But let's get this guy helping out where he can. Just because why not? So I'll sort of assign him in the opposite order. There we go. So those two should be assigned. So it's just this one. There. So eventually that should get done, and then we can start ramping that up. Maybe even by the end of the episode. We'll see what happens, but Yeah, a little disappointing since that was my initial plan, but we have other things we can do, right? Not the least of which is come back over to here. Yeah, take a look at what we want to do. I guess the best thing to do for now, as far as ramping things up, is just to go buy more houses. Are these people, yeah, they're relatively content. So at this moment, it means we have enough trains. Now, this is one of our, yeah, look, we're maxing out that train. Now, is that just a timing thing? Yeah, to some degree at least. Yeah, these other trains aren't full. This guy should be empty. It's unfinished railroad. Oh, look, it's bringing workers back. Huh. Yeah, how is... Yeah, get out of the way, guy. Yeah, this guy's pretty... This is full. This train is completely full. Now, how are we doing? It could just be bad timing. How are you doing here? Not completely full. Yeah, see, there's definitely a lagginess that's happening, and I don't know, again, if it's just this last update or if it's... I think it's because my map's getting too filled up, but I think what I want to do is, rather than this guy, well, the things that we'll let him finish that one conveyor, right? We'll let this guy start working on some houses, and I guess we're just as well off doing them here. One of the reasons I hadn't worked on those houses was because we didn't have all the roads done. So I then went off to assigning him to work over here more. But we'll leave this guy. We don't need to do it with any huge great urgency. But we'll leave this guy working on the things over here. Maybe we'll just work our way. Yeah, this guy's already assigned this, and we'll get him back to these various conveyors, which we can't see anymore either. Okay. So you don't connect to a roadway. Is there a particular... yeah, it's one of these. Well, we'll take a look. We'll see when those conveyors are built. We might be able to get a road, or we might just have to auto purchase this guy and hope for the best. So we'll see. Now, I did assign this guy a bunch of the footpaths in the neighborhood. So when he gets done some of those, I need to go back around and look for more like this. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't think I want this one. The footpath to nowhere. Yeah, that you don't need people there, and they got a path over this way. Okay, so that's more of that. So let's go take a look at how we are doing over here. I see a lot of trucks sitting in here for some reason, but we're getting pretty close. Look, this train station's done. Wonderful. And this one's done. Now, do we have power over here? Buildings without power supply. Seems to be a common thread. So let's close this. And I'm pretty sure we did power. Yeah, why? Oh, because this... Oh, I know what the problem is. Yeah, we need to get the road built. We need to get a road built into here so we can build this. Yeah, we're working on this one. Either that or what we need to do is let's do another temporary dirt road. Just so we can get this power built. Yeah, this is the town. Yeah, see, we're working on... Yeah, let's... No, that's not at all what I wanted. Let's get a little... Yeah, I hate to make a new... No, will you go up there? How about... Okay, I can live with that. Yeah. All right, far from perfect, but that should get us to where cargo station. Yeah, you know what? We don't need these conveyors done first. Car manufacturer's rail construction office. Why are you... Oh, yeah. Okay, well, we can keep working on that. Because that'll be a nice thing to have as well. But we'll get them... Yeah. Oop, there it is. You don't... Oh, because you have to come in that way. All right, well, that's good enough for now. I think that gets a lot of the construction done. Okay. So now we're also working on this road slowly but surely. I'm not sure if that's more of a distraction, because the more I think about it, like getting this done would be better. Because then once that's done, this road becomes a lot easier to do. So let's keep them focusing on the roads over here and whatever other construction help they're giving. And we'll worry about finishing paving that. Like I said, when we have asphalt and everything here, we'll be in good shape. We can almost start bringing some of that stuff in if we had the darn power everywhere. So that's good. So we'll work on this. So I think what I'm going to do now is regroup for a minute, because my big plan for the episode was over here. So I think I'd like to just let some of these constructions get done. We'll see who gets done first, but it shouldn't take too long, and then I can regroup my thoughts and we can come back and attack something. All right, guys, I'll be back in a few minutes when we're ready to, probably when we're ready to do this, right? When we're ready to get this going. So I will see you in a bit. Okay, we have power. Let me start the time up. The reason I paused it was just to, go get a drink, another cup of coffee. But in my travels around, I decided to come up here, and I think I got most of the signaling straightened out for getting a steel train going. That was another thing we need to do. We need to probably get them the ability to go either direction. This is the steel line in and out, and we can go through that in a minute. As I was sitting here, here's our food train. So I've sent him to go back to the depot. I think we need to get this guy not to be waiting. Just hopefully this guy will straighten himself out. There's two reasons. I don't know if he got up this way because he had to refuel. He certainly has a lot of fuel at this moment. So the refueling, if you don't have enough depots, is definitely going to cause you a problem. Now, I believe this guy was going to Gateway Love Warehouse. So we need to deal with him anyway. And I want to make him an electric train. So while we go and just straighten out whatever else we can, hopefully this guy will make it back to this depot over here. He doesn't have a question mark so far, but and that's a corn train. And let's see, do we have, where's our other, probably the easiest way to do it is, look at that voltage. Yeah, we need to straighten out our voltage here. So let's see, what is, yeah, this guy's the one that we just had open, so we might as well leave him open. Oops, there's our power substation. I was just holding that till we got it done so I could see the construction project was finished. Yeah, I don't like that voltage. Yeah, we need to do something about our electrical grid. I think it's overloaded in some spots, which is fine. We'll talk about that sometime soon. I don't know about this episode, but sometime soon. All right, so all related vehicles. Yes, so this is the other train. Now, this is the electrical train, which will be a good test for this one. So, and I'd even like to get him to come down here. And I was thinking about this, too. I was going to put the food on this one. I think I'm going to make the food go to this one. So let's have him go to here after there. And the reason is it's just a little bit closer to the towns over here, right? Because it's kind of a convoluted journey. Now that I've looked at it, when I was just watching them come in here to go do this construction, it's a lot of up and a down and around. So this would be a little bit closer for food, which is going to be is going to be one of the key things over here, right? The more there's going to be more trips for food, I think, than almost anything else. There we go. So 100% food in there, which means we should. Let's get this one. Now, I'm not sure what the best thing to do, but I'm thinking we just put something. Well, fabric. I think we did before. Let's make fabric. Well, we might as well just set it to what we want. So another one's going to have to be alcohol. Yeah, let's get one of these with a fair amount of alcohol in it. Let's take it up to 50%, even though that'll get messed up. And then, how about alcohol and electronics? I'm not sure that they go hand in hand, but try to get these both close to 50%. Yeah, let's hit minus. Yeah, this system here could definitely be made easier. So let's say we should be able to, there you go, close enough. Though, to be honest, I think I'd rather have a little more alcohol than electronics. As a matter of fact, I don't even really think we need that much electronics, do we? It's an awful lot of electronics. Yeah, let's, you know what, let's take, yeah, let's do fabric for like, I'm going to take it up to 50%, and I'm going to take this back to 50%. Yeah, that's pretty good. If we have 21 tons of electronics over here, so this is like basically should just be, there should never be a fabric train coming in here, I would hope. So if we get an alcohol train and we get an electronics train, or trucks, of course, we can start putting alcohol into this one. And then that would leave this one, yeah, let's limit the amount and come in and just do like 100% fabrics, which we know we'll never do. And again, fabrics will represent our, we probably want electrical components and mechanical components. And that's more for the construction side of things. Yeah, how many tons? 20 tons of each? Sounds pretty reasonable to me. Plastic, electronics, food, alcohol, clothing. Yeah, let's put some clothing, a little more. We'll go back, get these back up to 20. Yeah, 40 tons of clothing should be more than enough. We don't need crops over here. We don't need chemicals. Yeah, so that should cover everything that we need over here. And hopefully this train's heading there. Oh, we can't make it. All right, so let's do this. Why can't you... What are you going that way for, buddy? All right, let's... So he decided when he left... Here. He decided when he left... Well, he didn't even leave here. So why wouldn't you go this way? Let's get our railroad track signaling. Yeah, you can go either way in there. So if you were to come down here and go, yeah, you know what? These don't need to be two-way. So that's not a signal. This should be a chain signal into this mess. I'm not going to change all of it, but yeah, this I'm assuming is just, yeah, these are just signals for the sake of signals. Wrong way. Yeah, so he should be able to come out there. Now we have two-way. Okay, well, let's keep going. So the problem is, this should be chain signal in, regular signal out. I'm on the wrong track. So when you're in here, there's no way to get over to this track. And as we move forward, to be honest, I don't want you to be able to go here any longer. I want anybody that comes here. All right, so there you go. That's all the kind of thing we need to improve and repair. So for now, just to try to keep it simple, can we, yeah. I think that looks pretty decent. Ah, no, no, no. Cancel that. See what that did. Yeah, let's. Okay, look, that's even better. No, 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 no. What are you doing? There we go. Right, and then, yeah, we're gonna take our chances and demolish this, and this, and this. All right, so now the issue that I would have, and I think just for the sheer sake of my sanity, and you know what, let's do this as electrical track, so it's, I'm just going to purchase this. Yeah, I don't think, boy, look at this, funded from 614,000. Let's commit. Is that really 281,000? Jeez Louise. 339,000 to build that little section of track. All right, so that should be electrified, right? Yeah. So what happened there? Well, it's even more money. And that's not electrical track. So it wasn't even electrical track. All right, so now can this guy... Yes, that was it. All right, so I don't know if we caused any other problems, but at least he can now get from here. Now, this is the kind of thing that I want to do in the future to this track, which is just as well we got that done. Though in the future, boy, that's a lot of money. That was, you know, over $500,000 to build this little thing with auto construct. And, yeah, it's just too much to import. But then again, theoretically, we can... That steel that we just bought in, we could sell that much extra when we get things going. But so that's like, I really want to think about cutting this guy off from up here. All right, so like getting rid of all of this. Like, I don't know that any train, the only train that really, well, we have the supply up here. So this, but that's part of this supply loop, right? That shouldn't be part of this. This loop here should become, really the main purpose for this loop will be to get corn all the way over to Mootown, Mooskow. And then, you know, corn can come further. So this is like corn could come into here theoretically, where we sort of have like a corn loop with this track here that would take it all the way up to clothing, you know, so our farms would generally be along here. And then way down the road, if I'm planning, I would also take that track potentially, because I've sort of always eyed this area up as a further farm area. So if we did, we'd bring that in here. So does that make sense? So I don't really want, eventually I don't want any of the supplies on this one, which means getting this moved over to the main supply loop, because this is for construction supplies. So right now I don't want to break that off. And I may have already broken other trains. And let's see, what do we got? Why are you guys standing there doing nothing? You are... Yeah, you shouldn't have a red. So sometimes I think when you break the... Oh, you don't, you're feeding back on yourself. I see. All right, well, at least we got you going. Yeah, you know what? I don't want a signal there. Yeah, if we have a signal anywhere, it should be right here. Now, this should be a chain signal. All right, and then let's get rid of this signal. And this should be an outie. And this should be an innie. Right, and there, it looks like, I bet you there's enough to get a train in there. So we could, think we could, yeah, let's do another innie here. And an outie there. And then out there. In here. Yeah, that needs to be two-way. Yeah, so what we need to talk about doing is, this is the oil train, and it has to go over here, so we would want to get that guy never to go on this track. Or build another, yeah, we'd have to see about getting him just over to this. But that's getting more than I want to get into today, right? This is just, let's get our GW distribution, and I'm not sure how much. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a lot of that stuff. But did we get food over to here? Oh no, here he comes. This will be our first train into here, and I think once we get food into here, then we could start switching over. Now is this guy in the depot? No, this is the other one. Oops. Yeah, he's in the depot. So I want to go, once we get this guy, make sure he drops off his stuff. Let's go over to the depot, and we're going to pretty much do the same thing with this other train. So all we did to this one, which is this guy, is just add this distribution here. And then I want to give the other guy pretty much the same. You know what? Why don't you unload when you get there? That would be a good idea. There you go. So here he comes. So let's just make sure he makes it in and out. Which he's so far so good. Means my signaling is at least allowed him to do this. Does this guy? Oh no! I just messed that up. Darn it. That's right. We had fabric, food. What was it? Electronics? Yeah. Yeah, we'll do a little more alcohol. All right, there we go. So we have food over here. So now, yeah, let's close this guy. And then what I want to do, and just some of these tracks aren't electric, so that should, I hope they don't. I think they're pretty smart about not looking for a non-electric track. But this guy, yeah, where is he? Come on, there you go. This guy's a fuel one, so I want to purchase, and I don't know that we need a huge electric locomotive. I mean, they're awful expensive, and our money, well, I don't know. We might have, oh, that's right. We spent a good amount, but yeah, I don't know which the best one. I don't know that it really. Yeah, let's go with the red one because, you know, it's red. All right, so what we could do is let's sell this guy. That'll give us a few bucks. And then I'd like to get another box car. This is, yeah, that's the biggest box car. I think 4 is probably enough. Well, you know what? The more, yeah, let's go with 6. All right, so now, yeah, let's open this guy up. And we want to give him not the same exact route, so I think he was going to here. Yeah, no trains coming into here. So we want you to go from here. Where the heck is it? Over here to here to here. Okay. Yeah, we don't want you waiting anywhere. No, we want you waiting to load. And I don't think we want you waiting at either of these stops because you'll just jam things up. All right, let's start them out. All right, so there we go. All of that to get our food distribution going. Now, the problem we have now is we shouldn't have any trains coming into here. Nope, no trains. So now, get rid of that, and we don't need that open. What we need to start doing is, yeah, let's open up each of these. And like I said, let me do this off camera because I think it's just going to be very tedious. And I don't necessarily want to switch. Well, I want to switch the alcohol too. So see, I'm just going to go and switch everything over to using this up here, whichever one of these road stations. And it's just going to be very tedious in my opinion. So we've got, because we're waiting for food and we didn't have that alcohol, or the train that was coming here got stuck up in the steel mills there. So hopefully this will be a good route. If there's any particular problems with switching over, I will let you guys know. And I also need to do it here with all the refrigerated trucks. And so let me switch all of this over, and then we'll see how it runs as we end the episode. Sound good? I hope so. Okay, I will talk to you guys in a minute. Okay, after about 10 minutes, actually after just a few minutes, I paused the game, and then it's just too hard to keep track of them if they're coming in and out because they're, well, I didn't mean to click on the vehicle, let's click on the building. With all the related vehicles coming in and out and who's waiting here and who's waiting there. Now, the other thing is they keep waiting so that you don't know which one of these you actually sent. So let's go ahead and play and see what happens. I'm expecting them all to leave both of these places. Yeah, there goes our, so I got this and this. There's a lot of vehicles, probably about 15 or 20 vehicles, all needing to go someplace else. Yeah, good. You know what? He's loading. Okay, that's not breaking my heart at all. Even though he's, like, in other words, he loaded, which I want to get this stuff out of here, and that's why I have this road vehicle going. Now, what are you doing? You know what? I want you to head to your next station. Get out of here. And what are you doing? Yeah, it seems like even though I changed it, they haven't updated. All right, so they're in there waiting. So why don't you go over to your next station and load, hopefully. And then let's see, what does that leave us in here? Yeah, it didn't break my heart that guy filled up. And we'll keep an eye, like this guy. That's the road station itself. Is that the only one? Yeah, can we click on him? Yeah, so you go to your next station and load up. So now hopefully that gets everybody heading in the right direction, and we can eventually delete these. But we still have, you know what, we can, yeah, I'm going to destroy the meat storage since there's nothing in it. We don't want it there, and then that means we can destroy this. Now that, if I missed any vehicles, they'll probably have question marks on them somewhere around the map. Hopefully we'll find them fairly soon. But then I took our covered haul out of our construction office because I wanted to come over here and take a look. Now I noticed too, by the way, that we were purchasing electrical components over here. Not particularly something that I want to do, but let's take this guy and tell him to come here, and then where's the electrical components? This one? Yes. So I want you to come from there and then go to here. Not anything. I want you to just do the electrical components. And I also want you to wait. So when you get done, he'll sit back over there, and I can come back and check. And unload anything. So I don't have to keep changing that. And then start. So this guy should go get the electrical. So I need to empty this completely before I want to empty it before I destroy it. I don't think it has to be empty. Now this, well, yeah, we're going to use this maybe for a minute, even though I could probably destroy it. So now we should have the equivalent of some traffic jams over here. This is our meat heading to this building, good, and the planned route. So going directly into the buildings because they'll never wait. They just come here and drop off and then head back. So hopefully, you know, they don't waste too much time driving back and forth. But this guy should be bringing in a load of meat from down in our loan by Old Revergrad. So at least we'll have some meat over here. There we go. Good. And then oh yeah, our food took a hit, but we should have the 2 trains on the way over here. And then I guess the thing to deal with, and I guess, yeah, I don't want them waiting, but let's go to our electronics, which again, eventually we want to get this by a train, don't we? Yeah, we should talk about, I don't know if I'm prepared to do it right this moment. And do we have any vehicles? Yeah, this is where all the vehicles are coming in, but I mean, this track should be ready to go. And it should all be electrified. No, it's not electrified. No, this is all electrified, right? Yeah. There's our tunnel. Yeah, this isn't electrified. Yeah, this would need to be electrified if we wanted to build an electric train that could get onto this loop. And that's where we get into the question of, does the loop cut through here, or do we build a big... Yeah, I think that we need to electrify this track before we do the electrical component. So for right now, what I'm going to plan on doing is when this guy's done moving stuff, all of the stuff, then what I'll do is I'll just set him to... I will set him to come here with electrical components, but then we'll put this on our list of things to do, is electrify this bit of track, and we should really talk about electrifying in any other track that's not electrified at some point here. Now the other thing I think I want to do, let me do this. Yeah, load. I want to just set him not going to this cargo station. So come back and wait to load at the gate there. And then what I should do is, there's no vehicles planned with this, so we can get rid of this. Yeah, then while we're here, let's very carefully destroy that. And we'll destroy this. And we can destroy that. Now, what are you doing? You're back for more. Do we have more in there? So when he's done, that's it. This is empty of electrical components, and then I'll get him to move all of these other things over, and let's have him not wait. And then what else goes into this one? Because I could probably switch him on his next trip. So he would want mechanical components. Yeah, let's switch this to the mechanical components and then wait. All right, so he'll bring mechanical components over to this one. And then once he gets done moving everything he can, yeah, no fabric. So this is just electrical components and clothes. Yeah, we don't have any clothes. I think the clothes trucks just go right up to where they need to go, but clothes is a whole nother issue. we need to expand our capabilities there as well. So yeah, I think it might be a little bit, I don't know the exact timing because I have a few breaks in it, but it might be a little bit of a shorter episode because I doubt you guys want to sit here and watch me do this. Though I will be back relatively quickly, maybe just after this guy gets done, and we'll talk about firing up a steel train. Let's see, how are we doing? Yeah, so we're not doing great over here, or else we'd have... Oops. Yeah, we don't have a ton of steel, so it's not super urgent. We might even consider why we're not making any. Is it just for the lack of... Do we have a train? Well, they seem to be flowing. Yeah, trains are flowing. I don't see any traffic jam, so I think it's just a a matter of we need to buy, yeah, there he goes. This guy's coming in with more. So I think it's just a matter of we just don't have nearly enough trains over here to keep things flowing with passengers, or not passengers, workers, if nothing else. So when the time comes, we'll up this. We're going to be in a bit of a get things going mode, I think, before I start designing more stuff. I'll, in between the episodes, probably come here and make sure this guy's building everything he can. And it looks like we're getting close to power over here, which is great, because then we'll start getting trains here. The issue that we're going to have a little bit is that these trains are so darn expensive. Even though we have 20 million, that equals about 4 trains. And yeah, I think I think we do need to keep a bit of a priority on getting this going, because this is going to get us money coming in. At this moment, this is sort of all extra steel, and each one of those is worth, let's just check, but 13,000 each ton of 15, or I'm sorry, if we sell it, we'll get 14,000 per ton of steel if we sell it. So it's about 100,000 in here. That's, well over what, 14 million or something at that point. So it just, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, 1.4 million. So it's 104 million. So it's definitely going to benefit us to ramp this up first so that we can get the money going, especially as we increase our population more and more and more. We're definitely going to want to get this going so we can afford to pay for their food and clothing and all that whatever other stuff. So, but in the meantime, there's no reason not to keep this flowing as well as we can. So I will get this to where we can delete this building, and then I will come back and we'll talk about getting the steel train purchased, at least one, even if it's a little bit of an awkward start. And then we'll talk about probably ramping up the number of people, and then we'll just do probably some more spot checks. We'll see. Let's see how it goes in between the episodes and what we can come up with. And the other thing we could do while we're waiting and checking things is talk about getting more power. I noticed that right here, this is at 14,000 watts. Well, these lines are only supposed to hold 13. So there's definitely a lot of power going through this point. So I'd like to talk about how we get power. And then when I looked at it a little bit closer, I noticed that really when we shut this off, it's because we need a transformer down here. So even if this were to work, I need to cut this line off and take it to a transformer and then reattach all of these one way or the other to that transformer. Does that make sense? I don't think we're getting power. See, and then I have to just we'll have to take a look at this. Yeah, see, that's getting its power from around here. So we really have 2 lines coming out of this, which makes sense. And that one line's going to have to come into here, and then the other line will have to come in, well, probably to someplace over here, since all these little lines are already attached to there. So we'll have to get a transformer, which should fit right in there nicely. I don't think that'll be in the way of anything. And then we can get rid of, or at least shut off this smoker over here. All right. Well, let me, like I said, let me just do enough that I can get to the point we can delete this building, and then I will come back for another episode. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. We have a new distribution that's at least started, and then next episode we'll also talk about getting more of the supplies over to here, the construction supplies. And I'm curious, I guess we should probably even consider shutting this off as it makes sense, since we don't really need this. If we do any more construction with this one, he could just come over here to get whatever he wants, even if that's not the most efficient thing to do. Okay, guys, I will talk to you in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day, and bye-bye.